The rain had just stopped when Arman wiped the grease from his hands and stepped out of the small, dimly lit workshop he called his second home. He didn't know that tonight his life would be used as a joke, another cheap entertainment for the rich boys who visited the workshop only when their expensive cars needed quick fixes. He didn't know that those same boys, laughing behind his back, had arranged a blind date for him as a prank, expecting to watch him stumble, embarrass himself, and give them another story to mock. But fate had a strange way of turning cruelty into miracles, and on this night, in a quiet corner of the city, the prank meant to humiliate a poor mechanic would become the moment his entire destiny shifted. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and life-changing moments, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It truly helps the channel grow and spread positivity. Arman had always lived simply. His father had passed away when he was just 16, leaving him with the workshop, a handful of unpaid bills, and a mother whose frail health demanded more medicines than meals. Every day he woke up before sunrise, fixing broken engines and worn-out parts with determination as steady as his heartbeat. He wasn't educated beyond high school, but he carried wisdom in his hands that were cracked, scarred, and strong enough to lift his family through hardship. People often underestimated him because of the grease on his clothes or the dirt beneath his nails, but he had a quiet dignity, a softness of heart, a loyalty that ran deeper than oil in an engine. When the boys came that afternoon with shiny watches and smug smiles, Arman thought they just needed another tune-up, but instead they nudged each other and spoke loudly, making sure he heard every word. They told him a girl was waiting for him at a fancy rooftop cafe, someone special, someone who liked humble, hard-working men. They said it with overacted sincerity, the kind that hides cruelty. Arman hesitated. He had never been on a date in his life, but a small part of him wondered if maybe, just maybe, someone out there could see past his greasy overalls and tired eyes. And so, with nervous hope and borrowed clothes from his neighbor, he cleaned up the best he could and made his way to the cafe, unaware that the boys were already there, watching from a distance, ready to laugh. The cafe glowed with warm lights and soft music. Arman felt out of place the moment he stepped inside, earning stares from waiters who clearly thought he didn't belong. He swallowed hard, clutching the cheap bouquet he bought with the day's remaining earnings. He waited, anxious and doubtful, thinking the girl might never show up. But then she walked in. A young woman in a simple white dress, graceful but not arrogant, elegant yet unassuming. Her name was Alina, the CEO's daughter, something Arman didn't know and wasn't meant to know. She wasn't part of the prank. She wasn't someone who mocked others for entertainment. She had simply been told by her cousin that a shy, decent man wanted to meet her. She had no idea she was stepping into a trap set for someone else. When she approached the table and saw Arman, nervous, sincere, holding flowers with trembling hands, her heart softened instantly. Something in his eyes reminded her of the people her father once helped, people who held on to dignity even when life tried to break them. She sat down gently, surprising Arman, who couldn't believe she had actually come. The boys in the corner laughed quietly, waiting for the embarrassment. But the moment Alina started speaking to him, the prank began to crumble. She didn't look at his clothes, or his hands, or his lack of polish. She looked at him, truly looked, listening attentively as he spoke about the workshop, about his mother, about working hard to keep life going. And the more he spoke, the more the boys' grins faded. At one point, Arman apologized for not being someone special, for not having fancy degrees or a powerful family name. Alina felt a sting in her chest because she could sense the years of rejection hidden in his voice. She told him that being special had nothing to do with wealth or status. She told him she was there because she wanted to be, because she liked how genuine he was, because there was something refreshing about someone who didn't hide behind masks. The boys watching from the corner grew uncomfortable. Their prank had turned into something unexpectedly beautiful. As the evening passed, the wind softened, and the city lights flickered like stars fallen to earth. Alina asked about his dreams, and Arman hesitated before admitting that he secretly wished to expand the workshop one day. Hire more people, maybe build something bigger for his mother, something that felt like a legacy rather than survival. Alina listened with her head slightly tilted, admiring the quiet fire in him. She didn't say it aloud, but she admired him more than she had admired anyone in her privileged circles. His honesty, his humility, his resilience, they made him shine brighter than any polished suit ever could. When the boys finally approached the table, pretending to casually pass by, Alina immediately sensed the truth. The looks on their faces, the suppressed giggles, the mocking glances, they exposed everything. Armand's shoulders tensed, his face turning pale as he realized what had happened. Shame washed over him like cold rain. But before he could stand up and leave, Alina placed a gentle hand on his arm and looked directly at the boys with a firmness that silenced them. She told them the prank had failed, not because they were caught, but because the man they tried to humiliate was worth more than all of them combined. Her voice shook with anger as she reminded them that kindness wasn't weakness and cruelty wasn't strength. The boys left speechless, their confidence shattered. Armand sat quietly, overwhelmed, not knowing whether to thank her or apologize. But Alina simply smiled and said she wasn't pretending. She truly liked him. If this story moved you so far, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. It encourages us to create more inspiring content. As they walked out of the cafe together, Armand felt something shifting inside him. For the first time in years, he felt seen, not for his skills, not for his labor, not for what he could offer, but for who he was. Alina asked if she could visit his workshop someday, and Armand nodded shyly, hiding a smile. The world suddenly felt lighter, like the darkness he had carried for so long had cracked open just enough to let hope slip in. Before we end, tell me in the comments, do you believe true kindness still exists? That night, under the quiet sky, a mechanic walked beside a CEO's daughter, not as a joke, not as entertainment, but as two souls discovering something rare in each other. And sometimes, that is how fate works. A cruel prank becomes the doorway to something gentle, something beautiful, something meant to be.